Scientists just discovered something terrifying. Where you grow up could literally be shrinking parts of your brain right now. When researchers compared brain scans of children from different economic backgrounds, what they found changes everything. Rich people don't just think differently about money, they have completely different brains. Cambridge and Stanford research shows wealthy people have rewired their neural pathways in specific ways that make them better at creating and keeping wealth. But here's the breakthrough. Your brain can change too. I'm breaking down the exact 5-step system the wealthy use to program their minds for success. Stick around, because Step 5 involves gamma brainwaves that boost mental performance by 500%. Here's what the research revealed that will blow your mind. Kids from families making less than $25,000 have memory centers, the hippocampus, that are up to 10% smaller than kids from families making over $150,000. And poor children produce 23% more cortisol, the stress hormone that literally damages brain cells when constantly elevated. This means their brains are wired for survival mode instead of strategic wealth building, while wealthy children's brains get optimized automatically for spotting opportunities and making long-term decisions. But these differences aren't permanent. Your brain's neuroplasticity means you can rewire these exact patterns. Here's how. Step 1. Reprogram your reward system. Wealthy people have developed internal reward systems instead of chasing external validation. While most people need likes, compliments, or recognition for dopamine hits, the wealthy get satisfaction from smart, long-term decisions, even when nobody notices. This isn't just psychology, it's neuroscience. The brain's reward system, centered around dopamine pathways, can be retrained to find pleasure in delayed gratification rather than instant satisfaction. When you constantly seek external validation, you're training your brain to need others' approval for motivation. The wealthy have broken this dependency completely. Jeff Bezos built Amazon for over a decade before turning a profit, driven by internal metrics rather than quarterly praise. His brain was wired to find satisfaction in long-term value creation, not short-term recognition. Mark Cuban focuses on deal-making processes and learning from failures, not media attention. He gets dopamine hits from mastering business fundamentals, whether anyone notices or not. This internal wiring lets them stick to strategies others abandon when results aren't immediate. Their brains literally reward patience and strategic thinking, while yours might be programmed to seek instant gratification. But here's what's fascinating. You can actually measure these changes. Scientists using brain imaging technology have shown that people who practice delayed gratification develop stronger connections in the prefrontal cortex, the exact same patterns seen in wealthy individuals. Your training protocol. Create private celebration rituals for financial milestones. When you save your first $1,000, do something special just for yourself, not social media worthy, just personally meaningful. This trains your brain to associate wealth-building behaviors with positive feelings instead of deprivation. Practice delayed gratification exercises with increasing difficulty. Start by putting $20 in a jar for a week. Then celebrate your discipline internally. Feel proud of the control, not the money itself. Gradually increase the amount and time. You're literally rewiring your dopamine pathways to find pleasure in financial discipline. Develop personal success metrics, independent of others' opinions. Money saved monthly. Investment books read, times you chose investing over spending. Track these privately and celebrate each milestone internally. These private victories train your brain to value wealth-building behaviors over social approval. The science shows consistent practice builds new neural pathways in just 3 weeks. You're literally reconstructing your brain's reward architecture. Step 2. Optimize your brain's CEO. Your prefrontal cortex is your brain's CEO, making executive decisions, planning futures, controlling impulses. Research shows wealthy people have enhanced activity in this region, especially when making decisions requiring short-term sacrifice for long-term benefit. When you see an expensive course that could improve your skills, your brain might focus on the immediate pain of spending money, but a wealthy person's brain focuses on the long-term value of the investment. Their CEO region processes calculated risks, while yours triggers emotional reactions. Elon Musk practices first principles thinking, breaking complex problems into basic elements and reasoning up from there. Instead of accepting conventional wisdom, he questions every assumption before making decisions. This systematic approach trains the prefrontal cortex to override emotional impulses with logical analysis. Jeff Bezos uses his disagree and commit principle, training his brain to make decisions based on data, even when it feels uncomfortable. He can intellectually disagree with a decision, but commit fully to executing it if the data supports it. This overrides emotional resistance with rational evaluation. Oprah Winfrey meditates daily and journals extensively, building self-awareness to catch emotional decision-making before it happens. She's trained her brain to pause and analyze her thought patterns rather than react impulsively to financial opportunities or threats. Your brain training protocol: daily meditation, 20 minutes. Focusing on sustained attention creates measurable increases in gray matter density in decision-making areas. But not all meditation is equal. You want practices that challenge your attention and require sustained focus, not relaxation apps. Try concentration meditation, where you focus on a single point for the entire session. Strategic games like chess against challenging opponents force your brain to think multiple moves ahead, strengthening the exact neural pathways wealthy people use for long-term planning. Easy wins don't create neural adaptation. You need mental struggle. Set up games against opponents who beat you 60% of the time. Non-dominant hand training, 10 minutes daily, forces new neural connections and increases overall brain plasticity. Try brushing teeth, writing notes, or using your phone with your opposite hand. This might seem unrelated to wealth, but it's building the exact type of neural flexibility that allows wealthy people to adapt their thinking patterns. Before any purchase, engage your brain's CEO with 3 detailed questions. What's the long-term value of this decision? How does this align with my 5-year financial goals? What would my future wealthy self do in this situation? With consistent practice, rational evaluation becomes automatic, the exact neural pattern that distinguishes wealthy decision makers from everyone else. Step 3. Create your success environment. Your environment constantly programs your brain, whether you realize it or not. Wealthy people unconsciously create environments that reinforce wealth-building patterns, while poor people often live in environments that reinforce scarcity thinking. Social neuroscience research shows that social environments literally change brain structure. If you're constantly hearing scarcity talk, complaints about expensive prices, worry about the economy, negative assumptions about wealthy people, your brain normalizes those patterns as reality. The solution isn't to avoid all negative people, but to deliberately expose yourself to abundance-focused conversations and environments. Listen to 10 minutes daily of successful people discussing growth, opportunities, and wealth creation. Join communities where people talk about investing, business building, and financial growth. This isn't about fake positivity or ignoring real problems. It's about feeding your brain evidence that different possibilities exist. When your neural networks are constantly exposed to wealth-building conversations and examples, those patterns become stronger and more automatic. Your physical environment matters too. Wealthy people often surround themselves with visual reminders of success and growth. This could be books about investing, artwork that inspires confidence, or simply a clean, organized space that reflects the kind of order and intentionality they want in their financial lives. Your environment optimization. Create a wealth immersion environment. For at least 2 hours daily, surround yourself exclusively with wealth-building stimuli. Listen to successful entrepreneurs while working out. Watch investor interviews during lunch. Read wealth creation books before bed. But the key is active engagement, not passive consumption. Your mirror neurons, the brain cells that fire when you watch others perform actions, need to see you mentally participating in the wealth creation process. As you listen to successful people describe decisions, imagine yourself making similar choices. Visualize their confidence. Feel their strategic mindset. This environmental priming accelerates all other techniques by creating constant exposure to success patterns that wealthy children get automatically. Your brain starts operating in a wealth-focused mode throughout the day, instead of just during specific exercises. Master peak performance states, gamma waves, 30 to 80 hertz, represent your brain's peak performance frequency. Think of them as your mental turbo boost. Research shows experienced practitioners can self-induce sustained high-amplitude gamma oscillations, accessing enhanced neural networks that dramatically improve problem-solving and decision-making under pressure. Ray Dalio credits his massive hedge fund success to daily transcendental meditation. It has probably been the single most important reason for whatever success I've had. He practices 20 minutes twice daily, strategically accessing gamma states before crucial billion-dollar investment decisions. Elon Musk works with brain optimization specialists who help the most successful people on the planet enhance learning and decision-making. His approach involves deep concentration on solutions rather than dwelling on problems, a form of active mindfulness that generates gamma activity. But here's what separates elite performers from everyone else. They don't randomly meditate or hope for peak states. They deliberately enter these heightened brain states before high-value activities. They've trained their minds to shift into gamma dominance during crucial moments, accessing enhanced neural networks that research shows dramatically improve complex problem-solving. Your peak state protocol. Before your next important financial decision, spend 10 minutes in focused concentration. This isn't relaxation. This is mental preparation. Focus intensely on the specific challenge you're facing. Access your brain's maximum capacity when it matters most. Practice deep concentration on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. When you catch your mind wandering to worst-case scenarios, redirect it to potential solutions and opportunities. This generates the same gamma activity elite performers use during crucial moments. Develop a pre-decision ritual. Successful traders, investors, and entrepreneurs often have specific routines they follow before making important choices. This could be breathing exercises, visualization, or mental rehearsal. The key is consistency. You're training your brain to enter peak state on command. The wealthy don't randomly meditate. They strategically enter heightened brain states before high-value activities. Timing matters more than duration. Step 5. Retrain your mental autopilot. Your default mode network, think of it as your mental autopilot, activates during downtime. It's responsible for daydreaming, self-talk, and your sense of identity. For most people, it generates random, unproductive thoughts. Wealthy individuals have trained theirs for strategic planning and opportunity recognition. Think about what happens in your brain during unstructured time. Are you mentally rehearsing worst-case scenarios, replaying past financial mistakes, worrying about money problems? Your mental autopilot uses 30 to 50% of your daily mental activity, which is enormous, to either reinforce limiting beliefs or process opportunities. Elon Musk spends his thinking time mentally modeling complex engineering problems and future scenarios. He's famous for working through rocket physics and manufacturing challenges during routine activities like showering or walking. Jack Dorsey practices Vipassana meditation for 2 hours daily, training his mind to observe thought patterns and redirect them strategically. Their mental autopilots don't wander randomly. They're unconsciously processing opportunities and rehearsing successful scenarios, turning mental downtime into strategic advantage. The difference is remarkable. While most people's minds default to worry, complaint, or random thoughts, wealthy people's minds default to opportunity recognition, strategic planning, and solution finding. This happens automatically, without conscious effort, because they've trained their default mode networks through consistent practice. Your autopilot retraining. Track automatic thoughts during unstructured time for 1 week. Set random phone alarms and note what you were thinking when they went off. You'll likely discover patterns of worry, negativity, or mindless wandering that you weren't even aware of. Replace random daydreaming with detailed wealth-building visualizations. Instead of letting your mind wander during commutes or breaks, actively imagine successful financial scenarios. Make them as vivid and detailed as possible. See yourself making smart investment decisions, Feel the confidence of financial security. Hear the conversations you'll have as a wealthy person. Use 15-minute breaks for strategic financial planning instead of mindless scrolling. When you have downtime, instead of reaching for your phone, spend the time thinking through your financial goals, analyzing investment opportunities, or planning your next wealth-building move. Practice redirecting unproductive thoughts toward opportunity recognition without stopping them completely. When you catch your mind dwelling on problems or complaints, don't fight the thoughts, redirect them. Ask yourself, how could I turn this challenge into an opportunity? What can I learn from this situation? How would a wealthy person handle this? The key is making mental rehearsals as detailed and realistic as possible. Your brain can't distinguish between vivid mental experiences and real ones. When you encounter similar situations in real life, your brain will have already practiced successful response patterns. These aren't just techniques, they're systematic neural rewiring protocols. With consistent practice, you literally reconstruct your brain's architecture to match successful people. Your brain becomes a wealth creation machine, operating automatically in the background. You start spotting opportunities that others miss because your pattern recognition systems have been trained on success examples. You naturally make better long-term decisions because your reward systems have been reprogrammed for delayed gratification. You feel calm and confident in stressful situations because your stress response systems have been optimized for performance rather than survival. People implementing multiple techniques simultaneously see results much faster than trying one at a time. Your brain is an integrated system. Optimizing multiple components at once creates synergistic effects that compound your progress. This is why wealthy people seem to have natural money talent. It's not talent, it's optimized neural architecture, making wealth-building behaviors feel automatic and effortless. Here's the breakthrough most people miss. The compound effect is incredible. People implementing environmental priming alongside other techniques report dramatic mindset shifts within 4 to 6 weeks, instead of the typical 3 to 6 months. Studies show that just 1 year of targeted brain training can increase hippocampus volume by 2%, effectively reversing age-related cognitive decline. Regular meditation practice creates measurable increases in gray matter density in areas responsible for memory, learning, and emotional regulation. The wealthy haven't won a genetic lottery. They've unconsciously developed superior neural architecture through specific environmental inputs and behavioral patterns. By consciously implementing these same strategies, you can begin developing the brain patterns associated with financial success. But there's a crucial point that most people miss. The research shows that these brain changes don't happen overnight. Neuroplasticity requires consistent, deliberate practice over weeks and months. You can't just do these exercises once and expect your brain to change. Think of it like going to the gym. You wouldn't expect to get strong from one workout. Your brain works the same way. Each time you practice internal validation, each meditation session, each time you choose long-term thinking over short-term impulses, you're doing reps that strengthen the neural pathways associated with wealth creation. You need consistency, not perfection. The environmental factor is absolutely critical, but rarely discussed. Social cognitive and affective neuroscience research shows that social environments literally change brain structure over time. Their mirror neurons are downloading success patterns 24/7. Their default mode networks are processing abundance-focused information constantly. Their reward systems are getting reinforced by the success they see around them. It's like being in a wealth creation training camp every single day of their childhood. Here's how you replicate this as an adult. Create what neuroscientists call enriched environments. Spaces and situations that provide your brain with the same constant exposure to wealth-building stimuli that wealthy children get automatically. The compound effect becomes incredible when you understand this environmental piece. People who implement environmental neural priming alongside the other techniques often report dramatic mindset shifts within just 4 to 6 weeks instead of the typical 3 to 6 months. Your brain starts operating from a completely different baseline. You now have the exact protocols. Reprogram your reward system for internal validation instead of external approval. Optimize your brain's CEO to make rational decisions under pressure. create success environments that constantly feed your mind wealth-building patterns. Master Peak Performance states you can access on demand and retrain your mental autopilot to process opportunities instead of problems. Which of these brain hacks are you going to try first? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you want to see these techniques in action, wait until you see my next video, where I reveal how billionaires install money habits their brains literally can't unlearn, including the 30-second morning routine that rewires your financial decision-making before you even have coffee. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, because that video drops in 3 days, and it's going to change how you think about building wealth forever.